hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so. And go and check out the Facebook group page. Keep pounding in all caps for in-game post polls, opinions, and reactions to NFL news, as well as scheduling for the channel and, of course, Yahoo Sports Fantasy Football League. So let's chat a little bit, guys. I'm driving back from Charlotte right now. I just passed by the stadium, and you know, they're still doing a little bit of work on the parking lots nearby, trying to get those ready, you know. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for what's coming, man. If we can get Frank to give up the reins, that's the biggest thing. That is the biggest challenge right now. Am I worried about the injuries impacting our season? Yes. But do I think it's a major concern at the moment? No. You know, as long as we put Troy Hill in, and I know some people are not going to agree with that, and that's okay. I still think it's the right thing to do. There are some people that believe that CJ is ready to take over those reins. I disagree. I don't think he's ready, respectfully. But, and I've got a pretty good feel for what he can and cannot do. I know everybody's at work right now. Shout out to everybody that's working the 9-to-5 jobs right now, man. Earning that paycheck. You know. Some of that money is going to go into Panthers tickets. Don't lie. Don't lie. Y'all know it. Once we get this team right, man, some of that money is going to go into tickets. And y'all know it. Right now, we have to settle for the merch. But honestly, like, this team has endured so much over the last 6 or 7 years. And I mean, I see this roster and I'm going, okay, now I got a reason to be patient. You know what I mean? Now I've got a reason to look forward to something happening in the future. Even if it isn't going to happen right now, at least, like, we know it's going to happen in the future. Since I realize I'm talking to mostly people that are watching the VOD later on, I'll just go ahead and talk, you know. I doubt anybody's going to jump in the chat or anything, or in the live stream, but you never know. Surprises happen every day. Not this early though. Everybody's at work. As they should be. And if you're not at work and you're scheduled, get your lazy butt up. Unless you're sick, in which case, yeah, we understand. So back to the content here. I think we should do like a breakdown of every position right now and just talk about every position. Because I've got the time, I've got the energy. And I figured, why not? You know, why not? Alright, so let's start with Bryce Young. Bryce Young has the talent. All right, he has the talent. Nobody's denying that. You know, some are. Some are. Let's be real. You know, you got your Anthony Richardson people and your CJ Stroud people that supported both of them coming out of the closet just going, oh, well, we should have picked this person. We should have picked our favorite quarterback.
There's a speed trap ahead.
And if you truly believe that you are correct, then let's see it, you know? Let's see how well the quarterbacks are doing. Because last I checked, Houston is not doing well. The Colts are still mediocre. So at what point does this become Bryce Young can't do what he's asking, what it's asked of him? At what point does that become relevant here? It doesn't. And I'll tell you why. It's because Frank is not giving these wide receivers the correct routes to run. We can go round and round in circles, but at the end of the day, we all know it's true. We all admit this, okay? And I mean, some people are partially blaming Scott. Some people are going all the way in and blaming Scott. But it's not Scott. I've been trying to tell y'all, it's not Scott. He only creates the orchestra for you. Frank has to be the conductor. And if your instrumentals sound like crap, you're not going to get anywhere. Because you didn't organize it right, and you didn't give them the song sheets that they needed. So it's going to sound like, you know? You're going to have horns all over, all out of tune. You're going to have all kinds of stuff out of tune. And it's like, this is why you need to prepare properly. And I was sitting there on Pat's stream, Pat Coltrane's stream last night. Well, yesterday evening, listening to Frank ramble on about how he was going to slightly adjust this or slightly adjust that, dodging questions like the Matrix, you know, and the dude has no clue what he's doing. It was blatantly apparent he has no clue what he's doing. And that's a problem. That's a serious problem. Because if your head coach doesn't know what he's doing, yet he presented a clear-cut plan to get himself hired by the owner for 3 years, where did that plan go? Where did that plan go, Frank? Did you just impress him by saying, oh, we're going to hire this person, we're going to hire this person, we're going to hire this person, and then not even show him an offensive, like, game plan at all that you plan on using? No, you don't even have a playbook for these guys. And it's blatantly apparent that you need to give up those rights to the offensive coordinator. Otherwise, what is he doing? What is he getting paid for? Like, why even have an offensive coordinator if you're not even going to give him the reins of the play calling? We might as well have hired Eric Bellamy, man, and stole him for Washington. Speaking of which, why did he choose Washington? Nobody knows. After seeing what we were built, he could have easily chosen us. His success, or with the people that were saying we should have hired Eric. I'm really starting to understand where y'all are coming from now, because y'all are starting to make a lot of sense. That rabbit hole is making a lot more sense now. If you still wanted to go offensive minded as a head coach. Now, if you were that, if you decided to go defensive minded, you know, which has been working in the past and has gotten us success, moderate success at least. We just have to work on the offense, right? We just needed a quarterback, we needed an offensive line, we needed a few more weapons, you know, at wide receiver, running back, and we would have been okay, you know. We would have been able to push the boundaries and break that glass ceiling of the 9-win seasons. But the problem is we didn't do that. So where did Frank's offensive plan go? Where did it go? Did it go out to Mars somewhere? Did it go to Wonderland? Did it take a vacation in Disneyland? What the heck? When you present an offensive plan to an owner, he expects you to follow through on it. If he's paying you for 3 years, he expects you to follow through. Especially after that disaster of Matt Rule. I don't have to tell you how important that is at this point, that he follows through. So when you go looking through this roster, we paid about $70 million for this roster, only to have it be mediocre again. I'm sitting here like, really? We're doing this again? Like, I'm frustrated. Like the other years, we knew exactly what to expect. We were just like, well, tank, you know? We'll get the best record we can. Maybe we'll get a top 10, you know? Top 10 pick. You know, and it's like, okay, well, that's typical of us. Because our coaching doesn't know what they're doing. So, once we got Frank, and Frank doesn't even have the best record in Indianapolis, despite working with, let me make sure I get these names right. You got Matt Ryan, you got Andrew Luck, you got, I think even Peyton Manning for a time. You still couldn't break 500. Tell you something. Matt Ryan smelled the dumpster fire that was coming. That's why he left. That's why he did not resign. That man could have easily resigned with the Colts under Frank, and he didn't do it. Because he knew he wasn't going to get an offensive line. He knew that was it. He knew that was pretty much it for his career. You got maybe 1, maybe 2 years left in Matt Ryan. That's it, though. But he's not going to get anything out of Frank. Because Frank pretty much let him have 100% of the reins. Frank held 0% of the offensive playbook. during the time that he was in Indianapolis. I'm starting to actually believe that now. Because look at all the great quarterbacks that came through there that already had their own playbooks, that already knew what they were doing. You know, so it's like, okay, well, if you already know what you're doing, go ahead and take over. I'll just sit here like a bump on a log. You know, I've got no purpose other than to call timeouts and challenge stuff. You know, you guys kind of do what you do. You know, it's like you're getting paid how much money? Remind me again? And you're just going to sit there and allow everybody else to do your job for you. He's a glorified salesman, car salesman, man. It's exactly what he's turning out to be. And I hate to say that. Change the narrative if I'm wrong. Please change the narrative if I'm wrong. But right now, that's what we're seeing. Scott has been doing all the legwork, y'all, to build this team. We got all these weapons. We got all this protection. We doggone darn near have a perfect team. It's close. It's real close. I mean, it's not as strong as the 14 and 15 teams, but, you know, we'll definitely take it. You know, I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with this roster. Like, happier than I've ever been. But you got to execute, though. You got to have a game plan. You got to put all the pieces in the right places to succeed. And I don't think Frank is capable of doing that. I think the OC Brandon might be. He might. Like, I'm neutral on this dude because I don't know anything about him. Like, I'm not ready to throw him under the bus. I'm not ready to glorify him yet and give him his flowers. He's got to earn them. You know what I mean? He's got to show me who he is. Like, I don't know who this dude is from Adam as far as offensive coordinators go. So, either he succeeds or he doesn't once you hand him the reins. Either sinks or he swims. And if he sinks, then you fire him. Obviously, at the end of the year. But it's blatantly obvious Frank is the reason that we're not going anywhere offensively. So, my thing is, like, don't use Brandon as a scapegoat at the end of the year, Frank. Don't do it. Because Brandon did nothing so far. The offensive coordinator did nothing so far. Because you didn't hand him the reins. Oh, so he's just a fall guy now? You quote-unquote said, eventually, I'm going to hand the reins over to my OC. Eventually. You said that word for word, Frank. Don't go back on it now. Don't go back on it, bro. Because it's hurting us, man. We're 0-2 in a division full of division rivals that are 2-0 now. It is time to make a change. I'm tired of watching this team sit around and accept mediocrity because they will not change the status quo and do something. When we start out the season like this, every single year. Every year, bro. It's the same result. Y'all must like losing, man, because this is... I don't understand it. Because I know the NFL isn't rigged. I know it isn't. And I can prove that. However, you're going to tell me that this front office is going to sit here every year and accept mediocrity? When Tepper himself repeated my words and said, we are tired of accepting mediocrity. Well, going 0-2 in our division, with our division rivals going 2-0, is exactly that. It is the exact definition of mediocrity. Tell me I'm wrong. We are back on the mediocrity train, despite spending $70 million on a beautiful, gorgeous roster. Like, this roster could compete with anybody in the league right now. Anybody. If we have proper direction. Anybody. Shoot, man, you saw we came within 3 points of the Saints. What if we actually had an offense? What would happen if Bryce Young had been hitting his passes in stride and we were utilizing the weapons that we had with a proper game plan and the wide receivers going where they needed to go? What would that look like? What would that look like on the scoreboard? I'm legit curious. How many losses before Wright finally loses the locker room? Basically, since the players suggested Wilkes. Yeah, exactly. And I was a huge Wilkes fan. I wanted Wilkes. You know, I conceded the fact that Frank won that battle because Frank came in with an offensive game plan. But where's the offensive game plan? Where is it? Is it on the moon somewhere? Because right now I'm not seeing it. This is the same stuff that Ben McAdoo was putting out there when he was offensive coordinator. Shoot, man, I could run my West Coast power offense better than this garbage right here that we've been running with Bryce Young. And still move down the field better than this. And I got my own system on Madden, bro. And it works. I'm you know, say what you will. Oh, it's Madden. You know, it's Madden. Say what you will. But I got a system and it works. Would I like to see that put into action right now? Maybe. But we got to build. We would have to build the offense correctly in order to be able to do it. And we don't have the correct type of players that I would want to be able to run it. That's the thing. Because my system thrives off of yards after the catch. And right now, we have wide receivers that can catch the ball, but, you know, it's 50-50 on whether they can get, you know, yards after the catch on it. But basically, it's a power run offense. And you have two running backs, a speed back and a power back. You got a tight end that can go out for a flat. You can go slants heavy, screen heavy, counter run heavy, and of course a quarterback draw up the middle if you need it. So I mean, it all depends on what the defense decides to put out there. And you go quick tempo. So if you build your offensive line correctly to block pass blocking predominantly, and you get a bunch of speed wide receivers that can catch the ball, that you know are going to reliably catch the ball, you know, within 7 to 10 yards. You go quick tempo, hurry up offense, and that offense moves down the field lightning quick. I'm telling you. I've tried it on expert mode on every Madden game I've ever done, and I've had success with it if you build it correctly. But I mean, that's Madden. Putting it into practical sense, you know, putting it into the actual NFL, it doesn't work as well. The reason being is because you're putting your wide receivers at risk every time you throw that ball. And, you know, there's a huge chance of hospital balls. There's a huge chance of missed throws, miscommunications. You know, there's a lot that can go wrong. But if you're putting that ball in front of the wide receiver and letting him stay in stride on the slants plays, you're going to move down the field. And that's without the go routes. That's without the out routes, you know. You can add those in, whatever you so choose. I love a post tight end flat, though, because that safety will not follow at first. You have to bite him to the left if you want it to go to the right, you know, and vice versa. If you have a left arm throwing quarterback, you would do the same thing. You would bait him to the right. So I mean, there's certain ways that offense could really, really benefit us with Bryce Young, because he does have an accurate arm. You just have to get him in chemistry with everything else that's going on. And I mean, we have 3/4 of what we need right now to make that happen. I don't believe that these wide receivers are fast enough to fit that type of offense. That's my only concern if you want to put that into practice in the NFL. Plus, you're hanging a lot of these wide receivers out to dry if you run slants too many times. So it's dangerous. So what I recommend is having about 5 or 6 wide receivers in your wide receiver core, you know, for your 53-man roster. You want 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, just in case your tight end gets hurt. You want good depth on the O-line, 60-40 pass protection, you know. And I mean, that's how you would address it. And you would just move right down the field, tempo, you know? And it works. It does. And I've hit DJ Chark down the sideline, you know, on target. As long as you don't overthrow him, when the defense keeps loading up the box because of the slant plays and the run plays, zoom, right over the top. And you got yourself a touchdown. That's what I'm trying to tell people, man. You can get touchdowns out of slants, you know, out of screen plays, out of counter runs, out of power runs. You just have to put them in the right order, you know, depending on what the defense is doing. And the key is what those linebackers do is to that power West Coast offense run. I rely heavily on the slants play and the post tight end flat because it works. But like I said, you have to have the proper protection. You have to have the proper weapons at wide receiver, you know, and you have to load up at wide receiver too with fast guys. Otherwise, you know, putting this offense into practice in the NFL is tricky. Like I said, it hangs the wide receivers out to dry sometimes. So you have to really be careful where you're throwing that ball. But this offense does work. I promise you it does. have a lot of faith in it. I've run it on about 5 different Madden games on Expert, so I know it works. And I've scored every single time on every one of them. But, again, that's Madden. You're talking about real life. Real life, it's dangerous to try something like that. That's risky. It's extremely risky. And with the turf right now, I wouldn't try it. I would not recommend it. Once they get rid of that turf, though, I mean, maybe you could try it, but we just need faster wide receivers. That's all it is. These guys are fast. Don't get me wrong, but not to the level of speed that I want to run that offense properly. There was a certain set of wide receivers that I constantly traded for, and I wanted specifically. And I was not going to settle for anybody else because I knew exactly what they could do, and I knew they were reliable for catching. Like 90% of the time, they would catch those balls, even in traffic. And that's exactly what you have to have. You have to have guys that can catch in traffic to be able to run that properly. So essentially, you're going, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, moving down the field. That defense will get tired. I'm telling you, it will. It's just a matter of time. You keep driving at them, keep pushing at them, keep poking it, and keep poking at that line, man, with your running backs. It will break down. By about the third quarter, these guys start to get tired after you put up about 14 to 21 points. That D-line will wear down that you're facing. And I've tested it against the best D-lines that were ever in Madden rosters. And I've beaten them. I've beaten them handily by about 14 points. Every time. 14 or more. You got to have I believe Bryce could run that offense. I believe he could. But he's got to be on target. He can't be overthrowing receivers. He can't be throwing it behind receivers. And like I said, the second year in, once he hones in his talents and his skills, then I would recommend trying it. He's got to get all of that rookie nonsense out of his system first. But, if I was to recommend an offensive system to use and an offensive game plan to use, there you go. And people are going to say, oh, well, we don't have a power back running back. Chuba is a power back. People just don't want to admit it. He is a power back. He's done well. So, you want a power back? Check. You want a quarterback that can throw accurately? Check. You need an O-line that pass protects it predominantly, 60-40. Check. We've got that with the starting line and the second string. So, order of business is the wide receiver. So if you want to put that in practice in the NFL, I don't know. I don't know if I do it this year. I don't know. But just to give you guys some ideas, as far as what could be possible as far as offense is concerned. I've seen people go like deep pass heavy, with their offensive schemes. I've seen people go screen heavy, like Clemson does, and that works for them. In college, I don't know about NFL, but it worked in college. Mostly because of the types of defenses they were facing and the looks they were giving them. But yeah, the key there is tempo. If you could put together every aspect of that offensive scheme there, of the power run West Coast offense, with slants, tight end flats, all of that, the tempo would kill the defense eventually. It would absolutely burn them out. And that's exactly what you want. Because that's when you start to impose your will at the running back position. That's when you start really pushing them. You want them to load the box for the most part. You want them to do that. Because it opens up a DJ Chark touchdown deep. That's exactly what it does. You won't be able to quarterback run for about a quarter or two. But once that defense softens up, because you've been throwing darts, slant play, tight end flat, out route, screen plays, just hit them with everything in tempo, in stride. You got to build on that momentum. You got to complete passes. And let the wide receivers, let the running backs, let the tight ends do the work for you. Let them get the yards after the catch for you. Don't force it. That's the key. Don't force it. Because if you start forcing it, that's when you get in trouble. Because you're going to start making a lot of mistakes if you start forcing it. But watch those linebackers, though. The linebackers will tell you everything you need to know about where you need to throw that ball. If they give you a cover 2 look, you know where to throw it. If they give you a zone look, you know where to throw it. If they all load the box and try to blitz you, you know where to throw it. Check it down. There's certain things that you can do with that offense that, if you get that ball out lightning quick like Bryce can, and like I said, I clocked him at 2.6, 2.7. If he could do that, I think that offense could be successful. I think it could. But you got to load up the wide receivers, though. Definitely load up the wide receivers, because these guys will be hung out to dry. They'll be in very, very compromised positions when you're throwing them the ball at times with these slant plays. I've seen a lot of situations that I did not like, and I had to audible and check out of it. So what I'm saying is you need about 4 or 5, about a half dozen audibles ready to go, depending on the look that they give you. And if they give you a certain look, you know what audible to check into. Once you get comfortable with the system, it becomes so much quicker and easier. It's like boom, boom, boom. You get the juices flowing, man, and you get in sync with your wide receivers. You know exactly what these guys could do, what they can't do. I feel like if you could execute that properly with Bryce, the sky's the limit. Don't know that the wide receivers we have are fast enough, though. That's my concern, trying to run that offense. Because, I love to use people that are really, really fast, and I know can confidently catch the ball. If you go back to the 2015 group, I liked Curtis Samuel. I liked for this offense. He's the type that you want, for slot receivers. And I think we got a handful of slot receivers that could work for this offense. But this particular scheme that I'm thinking of, I do believe that Chark is your deep man. That's definitely your deep man. That's your X. I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they draw that up. Let's just call him X receiver, because he goes deep. He can go short and medium for you if you need him to, but he goes deep. That's his talent tree. Then you have wide receivers like Thielen that you could throw too short. That's your slant guys right there. Thielen, TMJ. TMJ when he's healthy. Although I don't know that TMJ is quick enough to be able to run this offense properly. I don't know that he's quick enough. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I like him. He could be a secondary deep threat if you need him to draw up the safety to the other side. But you need something over the middle that works. That draws these linebackers to one side or the other. And that's your tight end. Your tight end on the tight end flats is going to be one of the easiest plays you can make. And it gives you 5 automatically, because they're not going to be looking at the tight end. They're going to be looking at DJ Chark. They're going to be looking at Thielen on that particular play, because they're deeper. They're deeper in coverage, about 10, 15 yards down the field. Be aware of where the hash marks are and where the ball is spotted when you try to do that, though. If you try to force that and the ball is spotted on the right hash marks, your quarterback is a right-handed throwing quarterback, that could be dangerous. So you want to try it when it's on the left hash mark. So the goal here is to set that up with a power run up the middle, maybe an ISO, maybe a draw play. Set that up, and you can open that up, because they're going to load the box. Most defenses will load the box when you do that. That's exactly the time to throw it over the top. See, there are ways to do this, man. There are ways to implement this offense, but you have to. I just don't think Bryce is ready for it. I don't think Bryce is prepared to jump in there and start hitting plays like that, He's got to work on his accuracy and his chemistry with the wide receivers first. But yeah, it does work, dude. It does work. I don't know, just throwing some ideas out there for offensive game planning. I'm more of an offensive guru than I am a defensive, as far as my knowledge levels. And I probably shouldn't use the word guru, because I'm not a guru at all. But the systems that I use do work. But defensively, I like to run a lot of cover twos. I like to run a lot of stack boxes, and blitzes. I'm a blitz man, personally. It depends on who you're playing against. If you're playing against Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, all those types of quarterbacks, it's not going to matter what you do. They're still going to shred you. So you might as well put everybody back in rush 3. Take away his targets, Take away these guys' targets. Same thing with Rodgers.
In half a mile,
but the
keep
thing
right
is
at the
with
fork to stay on
Rodgers,
I-85 South.
the thing is with Rodgers is he's behind an awful line in New York now. So if it wasn't that injury, it would have been something else.
Keep right at the fork to stay on I-85 South.
I guarantee it. That O-line is so bad.
Continue on I-85 South for 34 miles.
But I just wanted to throw my offensive game plan out there. Let's just see if that might work. I mean, I'm willing to try anything. It's better than Ben McAdoo's garbage offense and the one that Frank is trying to run out there right now. So, I mean, if you're willing to try it, watch those wide receivers, man. Build those wide receivers up, depth-wise. That's the trick. And the biggest trick is getting some of these guys off of free agency and off of trades, because some of these teams are going to screw you over when you try to go for these wide receivers. So you've got to get it for trade. And Scott knows what he's doing when he does that. So essentially, when I choose my wide receivers that I want, okay, say T. Higgins, for example. I know T. Higgins is fast. I know he can catch the ball. He would be a logical choice. I like John Mechie right now. I like Chark to be my deep man. I like Thielen to be a slant man in this offense. And I like the tight ends that we have. I think leave the tight ends alone. As long as they can catch the ball, leave them alone. All we need is those 2 or 3 more yards to keep the drives alive, and get the first downs. Other wide receivers I would consider, let's see, DeAndre Hopkins obviously would be another deep threat, but he could also go short for you if you need him to. So he's a flex man. You want about 2 or 3 flex men in your wide receiver core. That can be adjustable depending on the audibles. But getting the ball out quickly is the key. You do not want to sit back there and wait on your reads. That's why I say Bryce isn't ready. That's one of the reasons I say Bryce isn't ready. The second reason is because he needs to be honed in on his accuracy. If he gets his accuracy honed in, and he checks both those boxes, I'll go ahead and give the green light, to try this. But like I said, fast guys, good hands. That's what I want to run that offense properly. There will be times when you'll have to run the running backs, because the defense will be weaker to the run than they will be the pass, which is fine. In those cases, you try to test the safeties over the top, every once in a while. See if you can get something moving, Don't force those slant passes. Don't force those screen passes, because that will hurt you. That will lead to a pick. I like Calvin Ridley as a slot man for that type of situation, that type of offense. I like well, you guys get the idea of who I'm going for based on those types of players. You guys get the idea. You put all that together, and I'm telling you, at the NFL level, I don't know if it'll work, but it's a huge gamble. It works in spades. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I just don't want to see a bunch of wide receivers get hurt and end their careers early. That's what, that's the concern. And I have so much concern for the players' health right now that's one of the reasons I don't recommend it right away. And I don't recommend trying it at this level. I would love to see like a college team try it out first and see how they do with it. If they manage to succeed with that, and put a ton of points on the board, then I might consider it at the NFL level. Like I said, I want a proper test of it. Run it. Maybe run a couple of drives with that during preseason and see what happens. With the proper wide receivers and everything. Give it a shot. See if it works. I'm not promising it'll work at the NFL level. I'm telling you. I'm repeating that as many times as I have to. Because I don't want these coaches and this coaching staff to get too many ideas and get too excited about this with minimal, with question marks of whether it will work or not. I don't want that blowback coming back on me, you know what I mean? If you choose to run it, that's on you. Whatever results come out of it, good or bad, that is on you. But to see it in action in an actual NFL game and it work, bruh, I would be ecstatic. I'm telling you, I would. I would be so happy and so excited if that actually worked. Dude. And I mean, that's one of a few game plan ideas that I've been tossing around and using. That's one of my main ones that I go to. But I wanted people to get an idea of what type of offensive minded thought process I have. that way nobody's like, oh well, he doesn't know his offense. He doesn't know how to create this stuff. You know, he doesn't know this is too bland and blah 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 blah. And I know I'm going to get that reaction. I know I am. And I'm taking a massive risk throwing this out here. You know, but I wouldn't do so if I didn't think it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, I have battle tested everything, every strategy that I've thrown out there on stream for you guys as suggestions. I battle tested it to the extreme. Like, I have tested it through several different Madden games. I've tested it, you know, through many different players on these games, you know, to make sure that it will work. But, you know, give it a try. See what you guys think. And you can mix in plays. You can get creative with it. You can get crazy with it, man. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you could push in there. I wouldn't waste downs doing a lot of it, but, you know, because the goal is to control the clock, you know? Control the ball, control the tempo, control the clock, the momentum, control the game flow, you know? And just say, oh, okay, if you could do that, I could do this, you know, and match you. You know, it's like the whole Cam Newton nodding, you know. It's like, okay, you guys got a touchdown, we're going to match you. We're going to get 7. So, I mean, mostly I just wanted to throw this idea out there. I know it's not going to be it's not going to be extra popular, you know, but it's an idea, you know. At the moment, we're running out of ideas. And it's clear as day, we're running out of ideas for our offense, because we tried everything. We tried Norv Turner, we tried all kinds of stuff, man, and none of it works. Honestly, I thought bringing back Norv Turner might have solved our problems, but Norv Turner's version of the West Coast did not work, because he tried to use some of that old San Diego Chargers type playbook, and it just did not work in 2020. You know, 2018, 2019, 2020 doesn't work now. These defenses are quicker. They've adapted to it. That's why you have to adapt and change to it. You know, you have to constantly adjust, add more things to it, you know. Keep the defense off balance. Otherwise, they're going to think, oh, well, this is just the bland plays that you've been running the last 5 or 6 games. Ain't wrong. Let's throw some crossfades in there. You know, let's throw some post routes. Let's throw some option routes in there. I mean, hook routes. Hey, let's mix it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they think they have you cornered, mix it up. And I don't think Frank knows how to do that with a playbook. I don't think he does. Now, I can't speak for the offensive coordinator, but I can tell you, I don't think Frank does. And that's a major concern, man. Because if you don't know how to keep that playbook fresh, they're going to eat you alive. And that's what they've been That's what these last two teams have been doing. Oh, we're not going to hide too much. We're hiding what we've been planning. We've been hiding every part of this offensive playbook. We're not going to show it off. Nah, why would we show it off? It's too early. Oh, it's too early to show off our playbook. It's too early. What do we got to hide? We don't have anything to hide. Man, I swear, it's like the old John Fox offensive coordinator where you just run it up the middle every first down. Like, really? How predictable is that? That was a joke. We literally, under that offensive coordinator, we literally ran it twice and then tried to force a pass. And you wonder why we kept punting. Gee, I don't know. Maybe it's because you kept calling draw plays on every first down. Could it be more obvious? I mean, really. At that point, I just went outside. I was just doing a football around. I was like, I've had enough. And it's where we choke on offense and we put everything on defense, and the defense wears out because, yeah, we might have some really, really talented players on defense. They might be making some really good plays. But then the offense fails to get any points, and we're right back where we started again. They're tired. They're exhausted. They can't do anything in the second half. What you want them to do? Turn into freaking Superman? You want them to wear a cape with a giant S on their chest? Come on. I mean, Luvu is basically that already. I mean, let's be real. Luvu is exactly that. He's going to play hard 4 quarters even if he's tired. He's just a monster. Same with Brian Burns. And I mean, the man just played, he played hard. He didn't have a chip on his shoulder, you know, from not getting paid. Fair enough. Fair enough. I have nothing to say. I say, do what you do, man. Keep plowing these people, man. That's what you do. And while we're on the subject of Brian Burns, pay that man. Pay that man. Pay that man. Because if you don't pay him now, somebody else will. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Somebody else will pay that contract. And they'll pay way more. It's true, y'all. It's true. I'm on board with everybody saying pay that man. I am. The question is how much, though. I'd say 27, 28 is a safe number. You don't want to go above that. You don't want to go below it. At the same point, man, pay that man. We need to keep him in Carolina. This man is team first. He's not even worried about the money. I mean, if that's not any indication of why he should be paid, I don't know what is. That tells you exactly who he is. Right there. I don't need a crystal ball to figure out who Brian Burns is. This dude is team-oriented first, and I love that. Those are the players you want to keep around for as long as you can. For as long as humanly possible. come back to haunt you. Period. Point blank. It will. Look at Effie Abada. How about Mario? You know? We better come up with that money. That's all I know. If you don't come up, and I'm not going to feel sorry for anybody that was not supporting the Pay That Man campaign. Yes, sir. We're trying to raise money for the Pay That Man campaign. We need to pay that man. Goofy stuff, man. We'll just act like salesmen and go to everybody's door and just be like, hey, we're here for the Pay That Man campaign. They won't even have a clue what we're talking about. But, yeah. Some of these people will pay money anyway. Give you $1 anyway. Just imagine going to random people's doors and being like, yeah, we're trying to get Brian Burns an extension. Can you buy a cookie for $1 to support this cause? Or you could just get like the old Girl Scout cookies. Pay That Man campaign. Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love having fun with y'all. Every once in a while, I get to have a little fun. Y'all some goofy ones, man. Y'all come into the Zoom chat. It's kind of wild, man. Y'all come up with some crazy stuff, man. I love it. You know, David used to have the Panthers YouTube channel. He was like Super Dave with a cape and everything. Bruh, that was great. I watched like 2 of his old videos. It was great. He's trying to start up some Panthers related stuff on TikTok pretty soon here. I can't say much about it, but you know, I'm just waiting for that stuff to come out. You know, and I'll support it and I'll post some of it on the Facebook page from time to time. But yeah. In particular, that one that got Mad Catta's attention. That was cool. You know, that was really cool. I don't know how he found that Panther head animation for that. That was really cool. I want to do something like that too. Like, I want to do something unique. There's so many like really cool ideas that are floating out there, man. You just gotta seize one. You know, and that's what made Matt Catta as successful as he is now. You know, you just gotta seize the opportunities. Pluck an idea, you know, and go with it. Take a chance. And this man's got an LLC. He's got everything going for him because he took a chance, man. He took a risk. And that's what I'm asking the Panthers to do right now, is hand the reins over to the offensive coordinator for offensive coordinator duties of game plans. Take that risk, even though we know not that much about this offensive coordinator. I think his name is Brandon. Could be wrong. Somebody check me in that in chat or in the comment section, please. But I think it is him. But I'm asking everybody to take a risk, you know, in the management. Put it in his hands. Let's see what happens, you know. Maybe he's worse than Frank. Maybe he is, folks. Because, I mean, a lot of these Panther fans like to assume the worst. They love to do that. Like, they're such pessimists, dude. I don't understand. Can I just briefly speak on the fans here? Because, I mean, I respect all of y'all, man. I do. I respect all your opinions, all your views, everything you got to say. You know, and I try to give them a voice, you know? No matter how wacky and out there they are, you know? But there's a certain point where, I mean, it's just all negative from some of these folks, man. It's all negative. And I'm sitting there going, really? What are we doing? You know? What are we doing as a fan base? We really want people to respect us, yet we keep throwing out these negative posts and negative opinions of the team constantly, even if we're doing well. And I've never understood that. And some of this fan base is just so wishy-washy, you know, outside of our Keep Pounding community, you know. And I've never understood that either. Like, it's either, oh, Super Bowl or bust, you know, when we win like 3 games. And then when we lose 2 games like we just did, oh, we're the worst team in the NFL. We need to trade everybody. Trade this person, trade that person. You know, cut them loose. Cut them loose. We feel sorry for these players. Man,
in 2 miles, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 51 for I-385 south toward Columbia, Greenville.
I will never truly understand it. Because to me, it's split up into 4 parts. And tell me if I'm wrong on this. This is how I'm understanding it. Number 1, you got the people that are homers, man. They're going to support whatever player that they want to support. Say Cam Newton, for example. You know, and they'll follow him to the ends of the earth. No matter what he does, no matter where he goes, you know, they're just obsessed with a certain player. So that's 25% of this fan base. Another 25% is people that think they know everything about anything, you know, and most of it's just cap. You know, and they want to come into everybody's streams and act like, oh, gung-ho, like I know everything that there is to know, you know, and they end up getting clowned on, you know, at the end of the day, because their opinions are capped. I mean, let's be real. They end up getting called out. Other streams they'll get clowned on, but mine they'll get called out. Because I don't clown on people's opinions. I don't do that. You know, I respect people's opinions no matter how wacky they are. Yeah, you might be wrong and I'm gonna call you out on it.
In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 51 for I-385 south toward Columbia, Greenville.
Oh, man. And then you got the people that somewhat know what they're talking about.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 51.
That have a little bit of experience, you know, dealing with certain things.
In half a mile, keep right at the fork to continue on exit 51B. Follow signs for I-385 south at Greenville.
You know, they've got the credentials. in the history. You know, some of them really, really do know what they're talking about, man.
Keep right fork to continue on exit 51B.
I give those people credit. And then you got
continue
the
for
fourth.
1 mile.
That is just pessimist. Everything pessimist. Everything. Everything we do.
In 1,000 feet, keep left to continue on exit 51BA.
I will
Follow
never
signs for
understand
I-385 South, US
why
146 South.
these people are so pessimist.
Keep left to
about
continue
everything.
on exit 51BA.
Even if we go like 15 and
In
1,
half a
they will
mile,
find
use the
something wrong
left
with
two
this
lanes
team.
to turn left onto South Carolina 146 East, Woodruff Road.
And if you fit into one of those three categories, other than the one of actually having credibility and knowledge, and actually doing the research, and you know, being a former player,
Use
then
the
you
left
might
two
want to
lanes
check
to
what
turn
you're
left
doing,
onto South Carolina
because
146
it's
East,
making
Woodruff
us look
Road.
bad. It seriously is making us look bad as a fan base. If we want to be respected, we have to show our knowledge. We have to act responsibly. We have to act respectfully towards each other and other players and teams. You know, that's what I'm trying to get this community to do, man. You know, is speak out, but be respectful about it, you know? If you want to get on some panels and stuff and talk to some people, be respectful and chat with some people, man. You know, let's network to other teams' podcasts. You know, let's get that moving, because I want some people's opinions up in here from other teams that we're playing every week. You know, that would be really cool, right? It's just to have one person every week that just like from every team that we play, that gives a perspective on their team and where they think they're sitting at, you know, and handles their business like I do. You know, that's professional about it and smart and really knows what they're talking about. You know, isn't gonna cuss up a storm, you know, but is gonna be respectful. You know, a simple slip of a cuss word every once in a blue moon, I'm not gonna get mad at. But you know, I'm trying to be professional with this channel, you know, and I want it to be family friendly. But I can't control my guests, you know. I really can't. I can ask people to be respectful, but at the end of the day, people are gonna say what they're gonna say, you know. And that's pretty much how that reaction to the Falcons game went too, you know, because I had people in group chat on my phone, and they were just kind of, you know, they're gonna say what they're gonna say. You know, I can't really control that, but I can ask them to curb it a little bit. You know, since they're live streamed, and I could just let them know that they're being live streamed. You know, and most of these guys that get into these group chats and stuff like that, they hit me up, pretty much know the deal. They know when I say I'm streaming, they know exactly what to do and what not to do. So, you know, they're very respectful, and I appreciate that. I really do.
Continue on South Carolina 146 really East for half a mile.
Is what we're trying to build here. That's exactly what we're trying to create. So, I mean, with all that in mind, I just want to thank everybody, you know, that's been professional so far for doing what they do, you know, and maintaining the standards around here. That's awesome. See, this community is amazing. You know, we've created quite the group here that is representing this team well, I think, and this team's interests well. So, you know, the next step is let's get some people in here from other teams that are doing the same thing. I'd love that, wouldn't you guys? Wouldn't you guys like to hear like another team's perspective on stuff? Like Broski Bears has been in here and sharing stuff about the Chicago Bears. So if you want to join Zoom when we play the Bears at some point, come on in. You know, we'd love to hear from you on what you think about the team. You know, we've had a Seahawks fan in here. We've had
in
Patriots fan in here.
Turn right onto Miller Road.
You know, /Saints fan. And, you know, that's worked out really, really well. And I want to keep doing that. I would love to keep that up, because the more knowledge that we have, the more we can share, right? You know, with people that don't have it. The more we can learn about our own team versus watching other teams as well, that's helpful. So, I encourage it.
Turn right onto Miller Road.
I mean, yeah, we got a lot of work to do as a franchise to get where we want to go.
Continue on Miller Road for 1.5 miles.
And I feel like, you know, one step at a time. One step at a time. You know, take your time, not rush it, trust the process, you know? And I know that's been such an overused statement, but it's true. We need to trust the process. Scott knows what he's doing. Trust in Scott. Everybody's saying fire Scott. I say trust in Scott. I say trust in Scott. And I'm doubling down on that. I've always been that outside of the box voice. Always. Trust in Scott. I'll say it as many times as I have to. And I will defend that man on any platform that will have me on it, if necessary. I'm done listening to this anti-Scott stuff. I really am. He put this roster together for you. Thank you. You know, when this roster ends up saving the season, once we finally get an offensive game plan going and everything working the way we want it to,
in a quarter
you're
mile,
welcome.
Turn right onto Burning Bush Road, Burning Bush Lane.
Ajaro's the truth, though. That's the one, man. The right defensive coordinator. No questions about that at all.
Take the second right onto
None.
Burning Bush Road, Burning Bush Lane.
None whatsoever.
In 800 feet, turn left onto Cherry Hill Road.
We got to make some major changes in the next couple games, man.
Turn left onto Cherry Hill
Road. If we want to
Road.
have a shot at saving this season. It's got to start now, though. Bottom line, it has to start now.
In 600 feet, turn right onto Piney Grove Road.
Alright, guys, that's all I got to say for today.
Take the next right onto Piney Grove Road, then your destination will be on the right.
Shout out to Brusky Bear one more time. Appreciate you and everybody else that was checking out the stream today. Hit that like button on your way out. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. And I will see you guys in the next one. Stay happy, healthy, and well.
Welcome home.
As always, keep pounding.